People who became successful after the age of 40, Part 4, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is often remembered as one of the greatest presidents of the United States, a man who preserved the Union and ended slavery. But his journey to greatness was not easy or quick. Far from being a young prodigy, Lincoln spent most of his life in failure, poverty, and ridicule. His rise to success came late in life, proving that perseverance, character, and faith in one's purpose can overcome years of setbacks. Lincoln's story is a testament that true greatness can unfold after the age of 40. Humble beginnings. Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a one-room log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky. His family was poor, and his childhood was marked by hardship. His mother died when he was 9, and Lincoln had little formal schooling, altogether less than a year. Yet he was driven by an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. He borrowed books from neighbors, teaching himself to read and write by firelight after long days of farm work. This self-taught discipline laid the foundation for his later achievements, but in his younger years, Lincoln's life was filled with struggle, early career, and endless failures. In his 20s and 30s, Lincoln tried a little of everything. He worked as a store clerk, rail splitter, postmaster, and surveyor. He also attempted business, but his store failed, leaving him in debt he carried for years. Politically, Lincoln was ambitious, but far from successful. He lost his first race for the Illinois state legislature, failed in business, lost his sweetheart Anne Rutledge to illness, and suffered a nervous breakdown. Yet, he refused to quit. He eventually won a seat in the Illinois legislature and studied law on his own, becoming a lawyer known for his honesty and fairness. Still, major success eluded him. He lost several elections, including runs for Congress and the Senate. Critics mocked his rough appearance, lack of formal education, and awkward personality. By his 40s, Lincoln was respected locally, but was far from a national figure. The turning point after 40. Lincoln's major turning point came in the 1850s, after he had turned 40. At this time, the United States was bitterly divided over the issue of slavery. The passage of the Kansas-Nebraska Act in 1854, which allowed slavery to spread into new territories, awakened Lincoln's moral and political passion. Though many thought his career was finished, Lincoln rose again. His debates with Senator Stephen Douglas in 1858 gained him national attention. Though he lost that Senate race, his speeches against slavery, especially his declaration that a house divided against itself cannot stand, made him a leading voice in a deeply divided nation. At the age of 51, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States in 1860. A man who had lost more elections than he won, who had faced poverty, ridicule, and depression, had finally reached the highest office in the land. Lincoln's presidency and legacy. Lincoln took office at the most dangerous moment in American history. Within weeks, southern states seceded from the Union, and the Civil War erupted. Most leaders would have crumbled under the pressure, but Lincoln, drawing on his years of endurance and failure, stood firm. His leadership was marked not by wealth or charisma, but by resilience, humility, and moral conviction. He guided the Union through 4 years of bloody conflict, issuing the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which declared freedom for enslaved people in the Confederacy. He pushed for the passage of the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery permanently. His speeches, like the Gettysburg Address, revealed a vision of democracy and human dignity that continues to inspire generations. Against enormous odds, he preserved the Union and transformed America. Tragically, his life was cut short when he was assassinated in April 1865, just days after the Civil War ended. Yet, in his short time as president, Lincoln achieved what seemed impossible. The lesson of Lincoln's life. Lincoln's story is not just political, it's deeply human. He was not born into privilege, nor did he succeed early in life. He failed repeatedly in business, love, and politics. Yet each failure prepared him for his ultimate purpose. His greatest achievements came in his 50s, showing us that life's most important contributions are not always made in youth. His years of struggle gave him empathy for the poor, patience in the face of criticism, and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Lincoln reminds us that success is not the absence of failure, it is perseverance in spite of it. Conclusion. Abraham Lincoln's life is a shining example of how greatness can emerge late, shaped by struggle and strengthened by time. From poverty to the presidency, from endless defeats to historic victory, Lincoln's legacy teaches us that it is never too late to fulfill your purpose. At 51, after decades of setbacks, he became president. And though he died at 56, his impact endures forever. His story tells us this: success after 40 is not just possible, it can change the course of history. Kindly subscribe for more.